Ted, thank you so much for joining this morning from Pleasantville, New York. Tell us what's changed this year when it comes to holiday travel.
Fewer people are planning to travel this year, 21% of U.S. adults versus 27% last year. I should mention that we define travel for this purpose as taking a flight, staying in a hotel, or staying in a short-term rental. So if you're driving to a relative's house and staying with that relative, we didn't count that for our purposes. We're really getting at more of the pricier accommodations, flights. People are cutting back. Part of why they're cutting back is that cumulative effect of inflation. The fact that things cost 25% more now than they did at the start of 2021, that's catching up to people. They've dipped into savings. They've taken on debt. People are especially price conscious right now.
All right. Well, who is planning to stay home versus hit the road? Is there any sort of data that we can cite here?
Some of the bigger cutbacks are seen among men, Gen Zers, people with kids under 18. There's a lot of overlap there. We do see people in their 20s and 30s living expensive years, of course, whether that's student loans, childcare, high housing costs. It's that spillover that's most significant. Travel prices themselves haven't really run away, but it's just on top of all these other things. I don't want to tell people they can't have any fun or they can't travel this holiday season, but maybe it makes sense to modify a bit. Maybe you use rewards points or miles, or you drive instead of fly. You can kind of zig when others zag when it comes to timing as well. If you go a few days early or come back a few days late, traveling on the holiday itself is actually a real bargain if you're willing to roll the dice that you still get there in time for the family meal. Maybe you take an early flight or a late flight or a connecting flight. These are some modifications you can make.
Now, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, marquee holiday shopping events. People making their moves earlier, according to your research. What more can you share there?
This week really brought the kickoff of the holiday shopping season. We saw Amazon Prime Big Deal Days, Target Circle Week, Walmart did a big holiday kickoff. Black Friday starts in October now, and we see that about half of holiday shoppers are beginning their Christmas shopping before Halloween. This is something that's really intensified the past 5 years or so, ever since the pandemic. It started as more of a supply chain concern. It's morphed into more of an opportunity to spread out your cash flow. Retailers are acknowledging that consumers are frugal and there's only so much they want to spend. So they're putting their best foot forward early in the season. They're not making you wait for those best deals. We can use this to our advantage by comparison shopping, setting money aside from every paycheck. Don't leave it all till the end. Even if you're not ready to start buying yet, set a budget, set money aside from each of the 5 or so paychecks that you have left between now and the end of the year. That's how you can ward off that pricey credit card debt. The deals are going to be pretty good this year. I expect 30, 40, 50% off from a lot of retailers. The buyer has the upper hand, and the early start is feeding into that.
Well, about 2 in 5 of your survey participants are concerned about higher prices, we see, Ted. And so do you feel that that is factoring into their decision to shop earlier this year?
That's right. We have inflation worries, tariff worries. To be fair, prices actually haven't budged as much as we thought. But that's cold comfort to someone who's saying, wow, compared to a few years ago, I'm paying a lot more for just about everything. This is factoring into the early start. We are seeing people being very price conscious. Retail sales are likely to grow this holiday season, but it's not going to be a blockbuster. Maybe they grow 3 or 3.5%, kind of in line with inflation. People have actually been more apt to spend on experiences the past few years than physical goods, although even that trend may be showing signs of waning, as we talked about with holiday travel. The fact that the job market's weakening is significant here. That's one of the things that's helped people climb that wall of worry the past few years where, yeah, we're concerned about inflation and tariffs, but at least we're working and getting raises and we're spending anyway. We may be starting to see a bit of an inflection point there.
What trends are you seeing when it comes to credit versus debit card usage? Of course, we have big banks set to report their earnings next week, and credit is something that we do follow closely here at the NYSE.
The credit card market is still doing pretty well. It's been the year of the luxury credit card. For those with good credit scores and good incomes, the world is your oyster. We've seen a lot of new offers this year from Chase and Amex and Citi and others. We see, though, that proverbial tale of two cities where about half of cardholders carry debt from month to month at an average interest rate of 20%. And then the other half pay in full, they avoid interest, they're better candidates for rewards. Delinquencies are higher than they were a few years ago, but they've leveled off. Card issuers are generally feeling pretty good about things, but all news is local. If you're lugging around $6,400 in credit card debt, which is right around the national average, according to TransUnion, at 20%, if you make minimum payments, you're in debt for 18 years and you pay more than $9,000 in interest. So there's a big bifurcation there.
Bankrate Senior Industry Analyst Ted Rossman joining us from Pleasantville, New York this morning. Ted, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.